football fans. This is Bill Symes with the Phillips Game of the Week, presented by your Phillips 66 dealer, where you get Phillips 66 flight fuel for your car and Phillips 66 Trop Arctic, the all-weather motor oil. We'll be seeing you for the top thrills in football with the Big Ten Game of the Week, brought to you by your Phillips 66 dealer, where you see the famous orange and black shield.
Imagine yourself in this American Airlines DC-7, waiting for clearance from the tower for takeoff. The captain has it. Down the runway you go with a tremendous surge of power. You're in the air, and the smooth-running engines of this American Airlines flagship are operated with Phillips 66 aviation gasoline containing diisopropyl. Diisopropyl and HF alkylate were developed by Phillips Petroleum Company during the war for use in high-performance aviation gasoline. Now that government restrictions have been lifted on these components, they're available for use in automotive gasoline. New Phillips 66 flight fuel gives increased power, smoother acceleration, greater fuel economy, and is clean burning, eliminating the necessity for special additives. Get new Phillips 66 flight fuel at stations where you see the famous orange and black Phillips 66 Shield.
One of football's most famous rivalries is the annual battle for the Little Brown Jug between Michigan and Minnesota. A capacity crowd jams Ann Arbor for the 45th renewal. And now onto the field come the Wolverines from Michigan. This is the 26th year for Benny Oosterban on the Michigan staff, his 7th as head man. 87 is Ron Kramer. He comes from East Detroit, one of the top ends in the country. Number 17 is halfback Tony Braniff. He's a fine all-around back from Flint, Michigan. And the quarterback is Jim Maddock. He's a rugged sophomore at the blocking back spot for Michigan. Onto the field now, the Golden Gophers from Minnesota. Murray Warmath in his first year at Minnesota, coming from Mississippi State. 44 is right halfback, co-captain Bob McNamara. He's a senior. The fullback is John Baumgartner. He's a senior from Bismarck, North Dakota. Wears number 36. 15 is a senior quarterback, Gino Capoletti. Captains meet for the toss of the coin in the center of the field. Michigan wins the toss, and the Michigan team gets final instructions now from head coach Oosterban, moving out onto the field. Michigan having won the toss, they elected to receive, and they'll defend the north goal. Jim Soltaw will kick off for Minnesota. Soltaw moves forward, shoots it downfield. Danny Klein is waiting for it down on the Michigan 8-yard line. He takes it, comes back upfield, across the 20-yard line, on his feet across the 25, up the sidelines, and finally hauled down on the Michigan 39-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. Unbalanced line to the right. T formation. They shift into the single wing. Minnesota momentarily offside. Get back in time, though. The pass goes, and Ed Shannon carries the ball, cuts over left guard, and picks up 2 yards. A pass failed, and so it's 3rd and 8 now for Michigan. The ball is on their own 41-yard line. Unbalanced line to the right. They shift. Single wing. Goes to Danny Klein, the tailback. Klein passing, shoots it down for Tom Mance, no good. Mance almost had it, but it got away from him. 4th and 8 now for the Wolverines. The ball's on the 41-yard line. Baldacci standing deep in punt formation. Pass from center back to Lou Baldacci. Baldacci spirals it downfield. Dick McNamara waiting for it, taking on the Minnesota 27. Comes back across the 30, cuts out to the right, gets a nice block, stays on his feet across the 35-yard line, and goes down on the 37. So it's 1st and 10 now for the Gophers on their own 37-yard line. T formation with a balanced line. Handoff goes into the left halfback, Dick McNamara. McNamara drives forward for 3 yards. A line play failed again. So it's 3rd and 7 now. The ball's on the 40. Capoletti, the quarterback for the Golden Gophers. He barks the signal. Fakes a handoff on a nice fake. Goes back to pass. He shoots it, and it's no good. Intended for his left end, Ron Smith. 4th and 7 now as Capoletti stands back in a deep punt formation. Capoletti roots it downfield. Goes down, and Ed Shannon comes over to take it for the Wolverines. Takes on the 18 and comes back upfield across the 25-yard line. Slips away from tacklers. Look at that boy go up to the Michigan 30. Michigan is on the move, and we pick up play. It's 2nd and 8 for the Wolverines. The ball is on the Minnesota 31-yard line. Michigan, famous for the buck lateral series, is taught by Benny Oosterban. Running out of the tee this time. The pitch out goes to Fred Bear. Bear skirting the left end. Freddie Bear on the move. Finally hauled down, but he picked up 23 yards and a first down way down on the Minnesota 8. 1st and goal to go now as Michigan is knocking at touchdown's door. The line is unbalanced to the right with a flanker out. They shift into the single wing, strong to the right side. Direct pass goes to the tailback, Dan Klein. Dan Klein sliding over the right side for 2 yards. 2nd down now, goal to go. The ball is on the Gophers' 6-yard line as Michigan drives deep. Single wing is strong to the right. The ball goes into the fullback, Fred Bear. Bear goes at left tackle and picks up 4 yards. 3rd down now. The ball is on the Minnesota 2-yard line. In the single wing, the formation is strong to the right. It goes into the tailback, Dan Klein, and Klein powers his way up for 1 yard. The Gophers putting up a staunch defense here now. It's 4th down. This is the payoff play. 4th and goal to go. The ball on the Minnesota 1-yard line. Here come the Wolverines. Wolverines lining up in a single wing. Formation is strong to the right with an unbalanced line. Direct pass goes to Bear. Bear hammers in, and he's stopped for no gain as Minnesota holds. And so the Gophers take over 1st and 10 on their own 1-yard line. A staunch goal line defense by Minnesota's Gophers. And so now Gino Capoletti will stand in punt formation deep in his own end zone. Punt formation. Capoletti calls the signal, takes the pass. Capoletti kicks. Dan Klein takes it on the 35 and comes back, cuts to his right, stays on his feet. Look at him go. That's Danny Klein carrying the mail for the Wolverines. Takes it all the way back down to the Minnesota 13-yard line. 1st and 10 now for Michigan. Nice punt return by Danny Klein. Out of the T formation they go this time. That goes to Tony Braniff. Braniff on his way around left side. Turns the corner. Picked up 9 yards. A nice run by Tony Braniff as he moves the ball down to the Minnesota 4. 2nd and 1 now. 1 yard to go for a first down. 4 for a touchdown for the Wolverines. It's Tony Braniff once again. Tony finding room over the left side and drives in for the Michigan touchdown. So the Wolverines open the scoring here before the hometown fans at Ann Arbor, Michigan. Lon Kramer, the fine Michigan end now, will attempt the conversion with Klein holding. There's the boot. And the kick is good. So now the teams change sides. And the score at the end of the first quarter reads the University of Michigan Wolverines 7 and the Minnesota Gophers nothing. As we pick up play now in the second quarter, it's Minnesota's ball, 1st and 10 on their own 47. They're in the T formation. The quarterback is Dale Quist. Quist barking the signal. Moves out to the left, fakes a pitch out, cuts nicely upfield, and goes for 4 yards. Quist running out of the split T formation that time, picking up 4 yards. 2nd down now. The ball is on the Michigan 49-yard line. Line is balanced. Handoff goes into the right halfback, Daryl Cochran. Cochran drills over right tackle, picks up the first down. So it's 1st and 10 now for the Gophers. The ball's on the Michigan 44. Annual battle for the Little Brown Jug at Ann Arbor, Michigan. Once again, it's Daryl Cochran booming into the center of the line, and the Wolverines are there to stop him for no gain. 2 plays failed, so it's 4th down now, 4th and 10. The ball's on the 44-yard line of Michigan. Punt formation, Wolverines now. Dale Quist in the deep spot. Quist boots the ball, angling for the sidelines, goes over, and bouncing out of bounds on the Michigan 20-yard line. Wolverines 1st and 10 now. Handoff goes to Fred Bear. Bear drives into the left guard spot for a 1-yard gain. 2nd and 9. The ball's on the Michigan 21. Unbalanced line to the right for the Wolverines. They're in the T formation. Run out of the T this time as the handoff goes to Ed Shannon. Shannon comes at us. He cuts and moves in for a 3-yard gain. Wolverines 3rd and 6 on their own 24-yard line now. They're in the T formation with the line strong to the right. Shift into the single wing now. Dan Klein in the deep spot. Pass from center goes back to Dan Klein. Klein runs out to his right, looking for a receiver downfield. He's rushed, throws, and it's complete to Baldacci. Baldacci taking that ball and moving downfield, down into Gopher territory. Look at Baldacci go. All the way down to the Minnesota 39-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. Wolverines in the T. The line is unbalanced to the right. They shift into the single wing. Fine offense here, shown by the Wolverines. Handoff goes to Tony Braniff. Braniff coming at us, looking downfield. He may pass, decides to keep, tucks that ball under his arm, and picks him up and lays him down. Tony Braniff, with our field camera, picking up a fine run as he went for 14 yards and a 1st down. Ball is on the Minnesota 26-yard line now. The single wing formation, strong to the right for the Wolverines. Goes to Freddie Bear over left guard. Freddie Bear bouncing off the first group of tacklers and goes all the way down to the Minnesota 9-yard line. Michigan is penalized for delaying the game. 1st and goal to go now on the Minnesota 14. Single wing formation is strong to the right. It's Bear, the workhorse for the Wolverines. He goes up to the line of scrimmage, but Minnesota is penalized 5 yards for offsides. 1st and goal now. The ball is on the Golden Gopher 9-yard line with Michigan knocking at the door. They shift. Formation strong to the right. On the reverse, Tony Braniff takes it. Comes around left end. Goes for 6 yards all the way down to the Minnesota 3-yard line. Nice play with the fullback handling the ball, handing off to Braniff. Braniff over the left side for 6 yards. 2nd and goal now for the Wolverines. The ball is on the 3. Direct pass goes into the fullback, Fred Bear. Bear hammers at center for 1 yard. Second quarter now. It's Michigan, 3rd and goal to go. The ball is on Minnesota's 2-yard line. It goes to Bear. Bear slices over left guard and goes in for the touchdown. Freddie Bear, the workhorse on that drive, and now the Yell leaders get down and work on that extra point. The conversion was good to make the score Michigan 14, Minnesota nothing. Teams leaving the field at halftime, and that's the way the half ended with our scoreboard showing Michigan 14, Minnesota nothing.
A revolution in motor oils. Another first by Phillips 66. Trop Arctic, the first all-weather motor oil which has proved it meets the highest standard ever established for automobile lubrication. The Supplement 1 test. Compared to ordinary oils, Trop Arctic reduced ring wear 40%. It keeps pistons and bearings cleaner, longer lasting. Trop Arctic can double the life of your car's motor. And Trop Arctic reduced oil consumption as much as 15 to 45%. It's an all-weather oil, which means that the same grade will serve you in summer and winter. And because Trop Arctic reduces friction, you use less gasoline. Here, too, you will make real savings. Get new Trop Arctic all-weather motor oil at stations which display the famous orange and black Phillips 66 shield. It's the aristocrat of motor oils.
The Michigan band forms the block M at halftime as Michigan leads Minnesota 14-0. The teams will resume their competition in a few moments, but now it's the band's turn to strut their stuff, and look at this drum major strut his stuff. This rivalry for the Little Brown Jug began on October 31st, 1903 on Old Northrop Field, historic gridiron on the Minnesota campus. The jug, by the way, was the original Michigan water jug used in that game and copped by the Minnesota trainer, and this same jug is today's coveted trophy. Minnesota took the jug home last year with a 22-0 victory, sparked by the great Paul Giel, and you can bet the Wolverines are gunning to get it back on their trophy shelf this year. A crowd of 70,000 here at Ann Arbor now await the second half kickoff. Ron Kramer kicking off for Michigan. Kramer boots it downfield. Waiting for it is Pinky McNamara. McNamara takes it on the 10-yard line. Comes back across the 15. On his feet, cutting in across the 20. Moving up, and down he goes on the Minnesota 24-yard line. Minnesota 1st and 10 on their own 24 now. In the T formation, Capoletti has a flanker out to the right. Capoletti almost stumbles, gets back, regaining his balance. A nice play by Capoletti as he comes back around right end and picks up 8 yards. Gain of 8 yards on that play, so it's 2nd and 2 for the Gophers now on their own 32-yard line. They're in the tight T formation this time with a balanced line. Linemen split about 1 yard. Capoletti on a long count, on a delay, moves up the middle, picks up 6 yards and a first down. A ground play gets 4 more yards, and so it's Minnesota 2nd and 6 on their own 42. A flanker is out wide to the right. Michigan in a 5-man defensive line. Capoletti going back to pass. He throws. No good. Intended for Jim Solta, broken up by Lou Baldacci. Another Capoletti pass is incomplete, and so it's 4th and 6 now for the Gophers on their own 42-yard line. Capoletti goes back into deep punt formation. Capoletti sends it downfield. Dan Klein, the Michigan safety man, moves in, takes it on the 23-yard line. Comes back 11 yards before he's hauled down on the 34. So it's 1st and 10 now for the Wolverines on their own 34-yard line. The single wing is strong to the right this time. Goes in on the buck lateral series. The pitch out to Dan Klein. Klein now looking downfield for a receiver. Throws, and it's taken by Baldacci. Lou Baldacci taking the pass from Klein and moves over toward the right sideline. Picks up some blocking and goes for a nice 26-yard gain and a first down. 1st and 10. The ball is on the Golden Gopher 39. The single wing goes strong to the right. Nice play by Michigan, even fooling our cameraman on that one as Dan Klein throws, and it's complete to Ron Kramer. Kramer fights his way down to the Minnesota 34-yard line. What a play that one was. First and 10 that time as Freddie Bear hammered over right guard, picked up 3 yards. 2nd and 7. The ball's on the Minnesota 23-yard line. The Wolverines on the move. They shift single wing to the right. The fullback Freddie Bear on a spinner finds some room over the middle, and look at Bear go down across the 10, the 5, and into the end zone for a Michigan touchdown. Beautiful play, a spinner by the fullback Bear all the way for a touchdown. The point after a touchdown is no good. It's Michigan 21, Minnesota nothing. Michigan kicks off after the touchdown. It's Minnesota now, 1st and 10 on their own 26-yard line. Gino Capoletti on a nice fake, rolls out to his left, throws, and it's taken by Jim Solta. Solta upended after a 20-yard gain and a first down. Solta, brother of Minnesota's other great, Gordy Solta. Minnesota 1st and 10. It's on their own 46. Speaking of brothers, the 2 McNamara boys that play halfback are brothers, Dick and Bob. Capoletti throwing, and it's complete to Bob McNamara for 7 yards. Bob is a senior, the older brother. His younger brother, Dick, a sophomore on the Gophers squad. Minnesota picked up a first down, and now we find the Gophers 1st and 10 on the Wolverine 43. It's a tight T formation. Handoff to the right halfback, Bob McNamara. McNamara booming over right guard for a 5-yard gain. A ground play gets 2 more yards, and so it's Minnesota 3rd and 3 on the Wolverine 36-yard line. They're in the tight T formation once again. Capoletti going back to throw. Shoots it down. No good. McNamara dropping it. A 4th down Minnesota pass is incomplete, and Michigan takes over on downs. They lose 5 yards in 2 plays, so it's 3rd and 15 now on the Wolverine 31. Maddock shoots it downfield, and Corey on a nice catch takes it and rambles upfield. Nice play. Maddock to Corey. Good for 29 yards and a 1st down on the Minnesota 40-yard line, and the L leaders are urging Michigan on. A ground play loses 2 yards, so now it's 2nd and 12 for the Wolverines on the Minnesota 42. Maddock throwing once again. Looks, runs out to his right, can't spot a receiver. Still looking, may run, finally throws downfield, and it's taken by Dan Klein. Klein down the far sideline, across the 10-yard line, and is run out of bounds on the Minnesota 8. 1st and goal to go for the Wolverines of Michigan on the Gophers' 8-yard line. Out of the T formation now. The handoff goes to Dan Klein. Klein runs around the right side, picks up 4 yards. Danny Klein moving the ball down to the Minnesota 4-yard line where it's 2nd and goal to go. And the Michigan Rooters chant, "We want a touchdown." The shift, single wing, strong to the right. Pass goes to the tailback, Dan Klein. Klein slices over the right side and into the end zone for the touchdown. Michigan 27, Minnesota nothing. Jim Maddox's attempted conversion is blocked, and so the score, Michigan 27, Minnesota nothing. Michigan kicks off again after the touchdown. It's Minnesota's ball, 1st and 10 on their own 27 now. The quarterback is Don Swanson, running the Golden Gophers out of the T formation. Back to pass. Throws it out over. Whoa, no good. Intended for Tom Jewell, almost intercepted. 2nd down, still 10 to go for the Gophers now. The ball's in their own 27. They're trailing Michigan here this afternoon. Handoff goes to the fullback, Backman. Backman cuts in over left tackle and picks up 3 yards. The pass is incomplete, so it's 4th down now for Minnesota. The ball's on their own 30. Dale Quist is standing back in punt formation. Pass goes back. Dale Quist kicking, a high spiral, goes downfield. Corey waits for it. Corey finally scoops it up on the Michigan 30-yard line and goes back. And the Gophers swarm him down on the 29-yard line. And at the end of the 3rd quarter, the score is Michigan 27, Minnesota nothing. So we pick up play in the last quarter. Michigan is again driving deep in Minnesota territory. 3rd and 4 on the Gopher 14-yard line. Halfback Tony Braniff fumbles the ball, bobbles it around, and let's see. Dean Moss recovers for Minnesota on the 20-yard line. Minnesota taking over, recovering the fumble by Tony Braniff. And so it's now the Gophers' ball, 1st and 10 in their own 20. The T formation as installed by Murray Warmath this year at Minnesota. Goes to the fullback, Backman. Backman finds the going rough over the left side, picks up 3 yards. 2nd and 7 now. Dale Quist, the quarterback. Quist fakes the handoff, goes back to pass. He's rushed and spilled for a 6-yard loss. Quist unable to get that pass away. Another pass is incomplete, so now it's 4th and 13. The Gophers ball on their own 17, and Quist back in punt formation. Dale Quist punting downfield. Safety man for Michigan is Tony Braniff. Braniff takes it on the Michigan 45-yard line. 18-yard return as Braniff carries down to the Minnesota 37. Michigan picks up 5 yards in 2 plays, so now it's 3rd and 5 on the Minnesota 30. Braniff finds a hole over left tackle. Tony Braniff. They've spotted the ball on the 21-yard line where it's 2nd and 1 for the Maize and Blue. Single wing strong to the right. The ball goes into the fullback, Fred Bear. Bear powers over right tackle, picks up 3 yards and a first down on the Minnesota 18. Single wing strong to the right. Branoff goes in motion. Direct pass goes back to Dan Klein. Klein looking for a receiver downfield. He throws. Ball going down, and it's a spectacular catch in the end zone by Ron Kramer for the touchdown. The conversion is good, and Michigan leads Minnesota 34-0. After the touchdown, Michigan kicks off again, and now it's Minnesota's ball, 1st and 10 on the Michigan 47. T formation, quarterback Dale Quist barking the signals. Quist fakes the handoff, keeps the ball, comes out around left end, turns the corner, and points out his blockers' assignments and moves upfield on a beautiful run, a 16-yard gain and a first down before he's rolled out of bounds. 1st and 10 now for the Gophers, the ball on the Michigan 31. Dale Quist moving back to pass for Minnesota. Looks and throws. No good. Intended for his right halfback, Bob McNamara. Minnesota's penalized 15 yards back to the 46 for illegal use of the hands, so it's 1st and 25 now. T formation. Dale Quist moves out to the right side, goes back now, looking and throws. Incomplete. Intended for the right half, Shorty Cochran. It'll be 2nd down, still 25 yards to go now for the Gophers. The ball is on the Wolverine 46. Quist barks the signals out of a straight T formation. Fakes the handoff. He's back now. Can't find a receiver, running out to the left. Dale Quist keeping the ball, making some yards. Could not find a receiver, ran with the ball and picked up 4 yards. So it's 3rd and 21. The ball is on the Michigan 42-yard line. Dale Quist running the team out of the tee. They'd like to get some points on the scoreboard for Minnesota. Late in the 4th quarter, he's being rushed, and Quist is trapped and thrown down for a loss of 10 yards. Big loss on that play, makes it 4th and 31 now for Minnesota. The ball back on their own 48-yard line. Dale Quist faking the handoff. He goes back to pass, shoots it. It's intended for McNamara, but intercepted by Rotunno for Michigan. He's coming back along the right side, getting some beautiful blocking as Rotunno returns that pass interception. Look at him go, and he's finally run out of bounds on the Minnesota 9-yard line. Boy, oh boy, and the game ended with the final score, Michigan 34, Minnesota nothing.
Diisopropyl and HF alkylate were developed for use in United States military aircraft. Now Phillips can blend these high-octane components into flight fuel. Flight fuel for your car.
This is diisopropyl, an exclusive high-test aviation fuel component originated by Phillips Petroleum Company for use in combat aircraft. Now, for the first time, this powerful component is available to motorists exclusively in Phillips 66 flight fuel for your car.
New Phillips 66 flight fuel gives increased power, smoother acceleration, greater fuel economy, and is clean burning, eliminating the necessity for special additives. Get new Phillips 66 flight fuel at stations where you see the famous orange and black Phillips 66 Shield.
Michigan takes the little brown jug from Minnesota 34-0 as the coaches shake hands. Next week, our Phillips 66 cameras will be in Iowa City for the Big Ten battle between Iowa and Purdue. See you then.